Hi, good afternoon to a respected PhD audience and fellow panelists. I hate to be standing between you and lunch, so I'm going to make it really super quick. So, and as you alluded to, Russell, thank you so much. I think you've laid a very great platform on this. So it's, I think, quite complementary what I'm going to talk about. So when we thought about this presentation, we decided that it's good to take a step back again and share some of the facts and some realities of the submarine cables, which is what we are specialized in, and how they can play a major role in the region and particularly in PNG. So with that said, I thought maybe we go back to the basics. Like you, I have to look at the screen here. So I think it's important to notice that there are 600 submarine cables in operation currently as per telegeography. These have been recognized as critical pieces of infrastructure in multiple countries in the world, including in the Pacific. Australian government has got a great emphasis on this. Australia is a member of the Quad partnership in conjunction with the United States and with Japan and with India. So I think that shows the importance of these phenomenal pieces of technology which are lying on the ocean bed. How do they work? So I think there was a great reference to that in the presentations here. We have got the tiny strands of the glass which are laid on the bottom of the ocean, and then we just pump them with the laser signal, and the information is carried over the laser. And I think I decided to put a picture here. You have seen the pictures, but this is not typically the type of the submarine cable that we deploy, except for the shallow waters. So when we go to the deep water deployment, they're really at the size of a garden hose. But obviously, when we need more protection, we need more shielding and armoring, we put them as layers on the top of the submarine cable. By shallow waters, we mean anything shallower than 1,500 meters. Last slide on this one. There are 1.4 million kilometers of submarine cables currently deployed, which is, again, a very, very interesting figure. And in terms of the size and the amount of data that they can carry, they're different, they vary. Selfishly, I decided to put Hawaii Kinui cable, which is the system that we're going to build. Once it's in service, it can carry 240 terabit per second. So that shows the importance. These are the backbone of communication. Satellites, there was a bit of a talk about that. They're, again, a great piece of ecosystem. But even satellite traffic will be backhauled on fiber optic cable at some point. You cannot travel around the Earth. You have to come back down and get connected to the eyeballs. And in fact, the likes of Starlink and Kuiper and other LEO satellites are great customers of submarine cables for their ground station connectivity. In fact, Starlink has got I think, a very sizable ground station network. And they've got a big team operating it globally, which is even larger than a lot of telcos. So that shows the importance of these backbone pieces of infrastructure. And also in terms of the cost per bit and the reliability, yes, Hamish, they do break, but they break not occasionally. And that's why we built a robust network of submarine cables. So you never rely on a single submarine cable. And that's exactly why we want to switch to the next topic. I wanted just to, again, when we thought about this, I thought PNG is the largest nation in the Pacific. Okay? And I thought the closest to that, everyone is talking about PNG in comparison with Fiji, with other Pacific island nations, which is an interesting comparison. But I decided to compare PNG to New Zealand, which is the closest in terms of population and in terms of area size. And to share some of the facts again about the submarine cables connecting PNG, we have Coral Sea Cable, which is a great system. It was supported by the Australian government. It connects PNG and Solomon Islands back down to Australia, to Sydney. We have the pipe system, which is it's been in operation for quite a while. Again, a fantastic system. It's been helping the connectivity, international connectivity in PNG for quite a while, but it's been in service now for quite a while. For your information, the technical life of a submarine cable is 25 years. It doesn't mean that you have to retire a system after 25 years. Some systems go for longer period of time, but the trend is actually the other way around. With the new technologies emerging and new cables which are most efficient being deployed, some systems are getting economically retired before their technical end of life. So that shows the importance of being forward-looking and put decent amount of these systems in the pipeline to capture the growth of the coming years. And these are really capital intensive systems. They take quite a while to get built and constructed. So they have to really be planned for the next 10, 15, 20 years for each and every nation. So now if I look at the total number of fiber pairs connecting internationally, connecting PNG internationally, that comes to 2, okay? Just keep that in mind. I haven't counted the Google system here because apart from the animations that they share with the market, there's not much technical information that one can get. But it's going to be a great system as well, unknown in terms of the quantum, the landing location, but that's going to be contributed as well. That's a very interesting system too. Now, this is New Zealand, okay? New Zealand has got Hawaii, which is owned and operated by us, and it provides 2 fiber pairs to connect New Zealand to Australia and to US directly. TGA, another system, it's got another two fiber pairs to Australia. We have Southern Cross, which again provides another 2 fiber pairs, 1 to Sydney, 1 to the US. We have Southern Cross next, the same, 2 fiber pairs. And Hono Moana, which is the newest Google system, that provides 16 fiber pairs to Australia, 16 fiber pairs to French Polynesia and the US. Now, look at this. Population of PNG is 10.5. This is the official stats I got. I saw multiple numbers. I decided to go for the most conservative one. I think Russell, maybe the government figures are quite higher than this. Yeah. So New Zealand is 5 million. That's quite certain. So PNG, population-wise, is at least 2 times bigger than New Zealand. And why it's important? Because the telco business is all about the scale and numbers. That's why I didn't want to compare PNG to Fiji or to American Samoa, countries, nations that have got a small number of population. PNG has got the scale. PNG has got the potential. On top of that, PNG has got the great presence of enterprises, which all of them are working on applications which are data hungry and they want to have resilient, robust connections. And on top of that, PNG's strategic location, the proximity to Asia, is going to make it really an important place in the Pacific. So it's not just for the domestic traffic here. If we look at the construction of the submarine cables, and I don't want to talk about the geopolitics here, but we can see that a lot of cables are coming down south. And PNG is right on the way. When we talk about Darwin in Northern Territory, which is not too far from PNG, we say Darwin is less than 50 milliseconds away from 500 million population. And there is no reason PNG cannot take a place in that ecosystem as well. So population is quite important. The size of the country is important. Again, at least double the size of New Zealand. The GDP numbers, they talk for themselves. I'm not saying the GDP numbers are driven by the number of submarine cables, but this is, I think, a rule of thumb. Every 10% penetration of broadband results eventually in about 1% of GDP growth because it enables the digital economy, it enables e-commerce, it enables the digital government and lots of other applications to flourish. Now, if you look at the number of the fiber pairs that are connecting PNG compared to New Zealand, I think it's a no-brainer. Whatever system is coming to this region and is feasible technically to connect PNG should be tapped into. The beauty of it is, back to the geopolitics, there's a great amount of support by the countries like Australia, like the US, New Zealand, Japan, all those Quad partners to make sure that the connectivity is affordable, it's scalable, and it's cost efficient for all the Pacific nations, including PNG. So there's a great amount of support also on the table. So stars are aligned, multiple systems are being laid, and PNG is right at the crossway of those systems. Now, this brings us to the topic that you know, I wanted to highlight here. We are building a system called Hawaii Kinui. I did it in the reverse order. I don't want to talk about our system first and then come to PNG. I will tell you first what this system can do for PNG in terms of connectivity. We have done the technical analysis of this one, and the Hawaii Kinui system can provide connectivity to 4 locations in PNG. So it's not just international connectivity, it can also improve and beef up the domestic connectivity. That includes Port Moresby, the LNG plant which is in the vicinity of Port Moresby, and it's quite important for the enterprise play as a critical piece of infrastructure, and also in the Gulf province in Crema and Daru. These are all well studied, they have been designed, they have been costed, budgeted, so they're ready to go. We just need to have the foundation in country to enable this. And then this is the system we're talking about. The dotted line on the left-hand side of the map is the Hawaii Kinui system. It's a system to connect Sydney to Darwin and then Darwin to Singapore. On the first segment of it, which we call it Hawaii Kinui 1A, we have provisioned for 3 branching units for PNG, Solomon Islands, and Timor-Leste. And that is where we can connect PNG with at least 2 fiber pairs on the branch, 1 full fiber pair to come to Sydney, 1 full fiber pair to go to Darwin. And we're going to dedicate another fiber pair on the trunk of the system. What is the design capacity of the fiber pair? At least 15 terabit per second. What is the total international capacity in PNG? It's very, very political. I'm not going to share it here. But the local telco operators know what I'm talking about. So we talk about tens of gigs or maximum hundreds of gigs. Here we talk about tens of terabits per second. And if there's a concern that the dollar figures are at stake here, I think, with all due respect, that's a wrong concern. Because we have been there with the other Pacific Island nations, and again, this is the game of volume, game of numbers. Instead of drip feeding the market, we should just increase the volume, and people will still spend the same amount of dollars or more, but they get a hell of a lot more. Let me give you an example on Hawaii system that we have built since 2018. American Samoa got connected to Hawaii. Prior to this, they had a connection, a satellite connection of 0.5 gigabit per second. At the time, this was in 2015, 2016, they were paying $500 per megabit per second for their international connectivity. Okay? So the prices have shifted thanks to great competition in the satellite space, but still, they're order of magnitude higher. What we did, we provided 200 gigabit per second of connectivity to American Samoa. And as a result, and they had done a good job in building a fiber to the home and fiber to the premises. The packages you can get in Pago Pago, and I encourage you to check the Azteca website, who are our partner there, are on par with what you can see in Australia, even better than parts of Australia, in terms of the price and the speed that they can provide. And this is a small, tiny nation in the middle of the Pacific. So that shows the importance of a scale and cost effectiveness. Okay? The other thing we did, and that there was a great reference to the other applications which are quite important, not just the Netflix and Facebook and TikTok. We developed a permanent solution for a holo campus. That's what we call it. That's in partnership with the American Samoa Community College, University of Hawaii, and Azteca and Hawaii Kikeba, which basically provides a platform for remote education, remote health. So it's been used in the uni now. The lecturer is in the University of Hawaii. Their hologram appears in Pago Pago for the students in real time, real size, and basically they deliver the courses. It's being deployed by the hospital there. because the issue they're facing is that they can get the MRI machines, but they cannot really encourage the doctors to go and live there. Once they get the qualifications, they want to live in Hawaii, they want to live in New Zealand. But they can still provide the services to the locals using these high-tech devices that we can provide to them. And there are lots of other applications that can benefit from this high-speed connectivity. The other example was we provided the international connectivity to the schools in the Cook Islands. So Cook Islands is also indirectly connected to our system, through Manitoba system. And by doing that, again, we upgraded the international education link by a factor of 10. And we provided the option to connect them to the Education Perfect system, which is a platform in New Zealand. So it's not just the connectivity, but also what they can tap into. And these are just a few examples. The opportunities are unlimited, as all of you know. A little bit on the system. We have got the Australian landing site completely designed and firmed up in Sydney. We have got the licenses from ACMA, ACMA. Brisbane is a potential landing for us. That's still work in progress. We really hope that we can make it work. And then we do full landing in Darwin. Darwin is also, excuse me, a landing which is defined, and we're working with the local stakeholders and authorities and all the ecosystem players there. And by the way, this is the most important one for PNG, as we just discussed. This can provide connectivity to 4 locations in PNG. The second part of the system is to connect Darwin to Singapore, and by doing that, we traverse the Indonesian waters. We connect Jakarta and Batam as well. There are some latency numbers here. I really hope next time we meet, I will have the latency figures from Port Moresby and all those locations firmed up, and we can all benefit from that. With that said, just a very quick word on who we are. BW Digital is part of BW Group. We are not newbies to the region. In fact, BW Offshore is supporting the Barossa line. Santos is one of the customers. That's a $2 billion project. They have got a battery storage system project in the provinces in Australia, New South Wales, South Australia, and Victoria. We have got BW Water, we have got BW Renewables, and BW Battery Storage Systems, as I said, along with the core business of the group, which is transporting the natural oil and gas. And they're one of the largest and respectful companies there. With that said, I just finished, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation and you enjoyed the lunch.